things on.
Yeah, but
Before we
you've got
move
such
on,
good people.
Before we move on, I do want to recognize, thank you for attending, Commissioner Pepe Cabeza de Vaca. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Pepe's been a huge supporter of Futuro RGV and very active with us, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here tonight, Commissioner. Thank you. And now we'll pass it on to Dr. Nedra Knert. I'll pass it on back to you. We're going to go to we're going to call the main event.
This is the main event, yes, indeed. And to really, it is so important that Jim Darling said, hey, I want to introduce Colonel Plummer. And how could I turn that down? So Jim, you're on.
Thanks for that great Thanks for that great introduction. It's
Well,
great.
I could have said a lot more.
No, I know. That's great. But this is exciting because I feel first of all, we're talking about veterans today. So all the veterans in the room, if you please stand up and be recognized. I know there's a couple of them on city. Some of this take a little longer to get stood up, but that's okay. But
he's already standing, but he is also a
But it's very rare in your life that you actually get to meet your hero, right? And so I've been very fortunate in my life to actually meet the person that's a hero to me. And it's even more special. I get to introduce him tonight. But 1986, I was a little-known city attorney, and I was told to meet with a person called Colonel Plummer, Colonel Frank Plummer. And I said, sure, I can take care of this in a couple minutes. And so little I know, I'm still meeting with Colonel Plummer 37, 38 years later. But he had a vision, obviously we're talking a little bit about his military career, but he had a vision to recognize all the veterans, especially in the Valley, because he has a passion for that. I don't want to take your speech away, Colonel, but he knows how much the Valley's given to the United States military and the sacrifices that the families have suffered for their service. And so he said, we want to build this memorial. He had this plan, and it was going to be classroom and spire and great memorial. He said, I'll raise the money, but I need a little help. And so he did that. And I'm telling you, he worked tirelessly on it, and I worked half tirelessly on it. But no, I tried to assist him. But it was his dream and his vision and his energy that got it done. And okay, everybody here has seen the war memorial? You guys went over there? I know Kathleen's a sister and her boyfriend, right? I don't get you married. Okay, are here, so they've seen the war memorial. But it's just a great place, and Colonel Plummer really is the guy that did it and built it. All our veteran clubs, we love to meet on Friday night and drink beer, but we're not really good at doing other things. But he was an inspiration to get everybody to do that. And part of it is services. I want to talk a little bit about his service, but he really doesn't need that one. But he's one of the few survivors of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Think about that. To me, that's you can't see more action than that unless you. I don't know how to do it. And he wasn't. We were in the service. His son David was in the service in Afghanistan and saw action over there. And I was in the Air Force, so I didn't see much action, right, Colonel? That's what he always tells me. But he wasn't. He wasn't flying around in airplanes and all. He was on the ground. And I have a picture of my dad of the colonel. And he's kind of looking back. He's in the jungle, and he's kind of looking down. And I asked him, I said, were you ducking or what? He said, no. He said he was a advisor for the Vietnamese early on in the Vietnam War. We sent advisors over, and so they were surrounded by some Viet Cong, and so he called in a helicopter, gunship to help them. But the colonel was really involved in the war right then, and everybody shooting at him. He didn't think about it, so he said the helicopter real close to us, so just fly over us and shoot. And he forgot about the shelling that comes off those machine guns and land on people. So he had a couple go down his shirt. And that's why he was looking like that. So every time I have that picture in my den, I think about you, Colonel, looking, avoiding the shells on that. But he served, as I said,
Tell them truth.
Huh?
Tell the truth. He was flying over the plane. He said he did. He was down there 123.
C-47.
He flew over the plane during the those shells on me, I swear. I swear.
If I would have known in 1968 what I was doing in 1966, I might have, Colonel. That's for sure. But no, so, you know, I don't want to go over that, but he was truly a hero. And, you know, he fought at all different levels. He has a list of honors and medals that I can spend the next 10 minutes going over. But he really single-handedly, to me, built that war memorial and did it for all the veterans and the families. And we've been over there during the Gulf War when we had families that lost service members 15 years ago or so, and went over there and have that memory of their son or daughter because of Colonel Plummer. So, without further ado, we're gonna. He's been. Let's see. We have a street named after him too, Colonel Plummer Drive. I don't know who got that done, but that's Pepe. You got that done. I think what we need to do, Commissioner, is we need to have a plaque in the War Memorial recognizing the Colonel's dedication and duty to the.
We'll work on that, sir. Yes, definitely.
We'll get that done. And so, Pepe took my place as city commissioner. He's a great city commissioner. So
Thank you.
your service. So, Colonel, without further ado, this is Colonel Plummer. Right. I got to tell one other story about him. So they had the spire, you know, it's been the rumor that I don't know how high it is. And so we were over there, and he said, "Hey, you want to climb up it?" And I said, "Yeah, have you done it before?" I said, "Well, hell yeah, I've been up there." And so I don't know if you've known it. You go in there, and there's a ladder, but there's no sides to it. It's just you go up like this, and it's really dark in there. So he got me going up there, and I said, "I'm kind of old to do this." And he said, "Well, I did it when I was 80. I was only 65." And he's telling me all this stuff. He's talking to me about, you got to take this over, you got to do that. And so about 3/4 of the way up, I never thought I would say this to a colonel in the military, but I said, "Colonel, you just got to shut the hell up." I'm concentrating. So I went to the top, and I came down, and I asked him today, "Did you really go yourself?" And he said he'd been up there 2 times. So that was pretty good. He's a guy who won't ask you to do anything. That's a true military man, that he wouldn't do himself. So without further ado, Colonel Plummer, come on up here. I got a plaque for you. It says, Colonel Frank, through your many years of service in our community, and if we could have a plaque that's 10 feet long, it still wouldn't do service to you, Colonel.
I was trying to think how I could counter him. Can you hear me?
Yes.
He was up at the top of that damn tower, 105 feet tall. You know, you're hanging on steel. Up he goes, and I said, "Get down from there." Well, he's like, he just goes. Well, I thought we was going to lose the mayor. But he had been with us in this program from day one. So the one before the city and asked for the land, the guy who rewrote mine, rewrote it himself. Now that's what I'm operating under. We've been with us all this time. It all started, you've heard most of it, I'm not going to go over that. But I came to the valley, Kathy and I did, with my wife. And you know, I met more people that were warm families than anywhere in the world. I've been all over the world during the war, lived with them. And McAllen here, we went to some of the families, and we all received a super welcome. We brought our children, went to the school, the teachers really took care of them, just to visit for 3 days. And we decided to come back to this place to retire. And since we've been here, we've found out it's all true. That ugly looking guy's beard right there is my son. He says he's handsome. So anyway, he went on and became a doctor over here at the university. And then my daughter became another doctor that took care of animals. So we all got an excellent education down here. But then we started looking at how they were treated this far down better, and found out they were mistreated because the big cities with all the political stuff got everything. So we decided to draw up a memorial for them. During this time, I probably visited most of the families in the valley. I went from Brownsville all the way down to Laredo. I talked to women, mothers, fathers, heartbreaking stories of people they put in here. Really breaks your heart. And many tears. We said, let's build a memorial for them. Back in 1980, he asked the city to give us land. But we told Jim here, of course, part of all this. They gave us land. We said, you know, what we're going to do, we have to have 10 years before we put the first anything up. Those commissioners said, and there, looked at me and just laughed at me. Said, okay. Can you believe that? They gave us 5 acres over here, the best looking land in the county. They said, we want you to put something there that our people can walk over and see. Well, we started in 1990 and started putting in buildings and stuff. We designed that building so that it'd take us about 10 to 14 years to build it because we had to raise the money. You can't hear the beautiful stories I used to tell to get money. You start on your hands and knees and you're up there reading hallelujah at the end. And then they say no and you go back the next week. And they always say to me, look, you've already gone through the best part. Get to this part and get the hell out of here. You're tired of hearing about all the money. So we raised somewhere around $4 million. Excuse me. And we had everybody in this valley working with us. I can tell you this right now. I've talked to many hundreds of stories. Really, you know, we don't really have a way of doing it. But when they told me they're going to have these white coat people, I said, I'll go, whatever it is. My daughter-in-law, daughter, has, she's got a white coat. She's got a white coat. She's very excited. And you know, I question your program down here. Just think, having these white coats stand up, what it does to our society. If we had a program where they can come through with $50, $75, starting every year they get this amount of money, for $107,000, and contact every child in the 8th grade. Put in a short movie about what they can do and how they do, and different places they do. These doctors are our best friends.
I tell you, Colonel, you know, here's the problem with the Colonel. He'd make a lousy politician because he can never talk about himself. He's always going to talk about himself. So this is about you, and so we want to let all these people go to the bar and watch football game. We want to take a picture with you and congratulate you and my hero.
And
Absolutely.
everybody.